Sargon of Akkad is here to say that he resonates with this meme that's making fun of him, I guess. Let's see why.
This meme explains 75% of right-wing politics. As you can see, it's an angry man in Ted Kaczynski style sat around writing his manifesto, surrounded by TNT, saying, "I am writing this manifesto to pass judgment on all who are complicit in perpetuating the evils of modern society, but especially my second-grade teacher, Mrs. Gretel."
Oh, yeah, that's really good. I haven't seen this. That's really good, yeah. That's pretty true. You could substitute out second-grade teacher, Miss Gretel, for, like, my mom, a girl that broke up with me, something like that. You know, it's usually just a woman. I guess it could be daddy issues, but it could be both, but it's usually misogyny-based. Some woman upset you and you never got over it, pretty much. Pretty accurate.
Actually, yeah. I think there might be something to it.
Why would you own yourself? What? Why would you do that? What is happening, bro? All right, that's excellent. Some self-awareness from Carl would be sick as fuck. Do you think he'll internalize any of this? Do you think he'll pay attention to any of this? Learn?
I don't know about you, but I also can't help but feel that modern society isn't really very good at dealing with young boys. I mean, one of the problems with the modern education system is its gender imbalance. And the fact that we have women teaching boys and men teaching, well, very few men.
Teaching boys like Miss Gretel? Holy fuck. You ever seen Red for Filth? Why would you make this video? You should have just reflected on why this resonated. Not celebrated it. Oh my fucking god. Carl is genuinely... If this guy was from Kentucky, he would have no career. Because his accent would be different and that would be all it takes. He would sound like what he expects to be a dumbass and he would have nobody following him. He doesn't say anything. It's just the fucking accent that people... And I guess his slow manner of thinking and speech. But that's just because he's not bright.
I didn't really want men teaching girls because they're not exactly well attuned to what it is that boys and girls need respectively. And so if you're going to have mixed sex classrooms, you have to have one rule for everyone. Well, which one do you favour? Because...
What do you mean? So if you have one classroom for everyone, they swap teachers and classes and experience all of it. You experience leadership from a woman teaching biology and a man teaching fucking math or whatever. I don't know. Because that's the manly one to teach. Although my best math teacher was an old lady.
Actually, boys and girls are often quite diametrically opposed in a bunch of things. For
like
example,
what?
Boys learn best by doing, and they're very active, and they don't sit still for very long periods of time.
Yeah, and we know girls definitely don't experience any learning by doing and are not active and just sit around and learn how to do dishes and sew clothing. That's what women should be doing. Women be sitting, dude. So true. I think all the fucking men should get together, like, on the right wing, and we should just say, you know what? We don't even like women. Let's just... Husbands are the way to go. And then they should all marry each other and kiss. And they should be together and happy, finally, because there's no stupid women.
And they tend to be a bit more rambunctious. Girls tend to be much more cooperative, able to sit still for long periods of time, and react well to being rewarded with good grades. Like, they'll sit there like Hermione Granger is a typical...
Oh my god! Hermione Granger. A fucking... She was fucking real, mate. Like, you know, a real child that existed. He might as well think Joanne's fucking book is real. There's nothing going on up there. Like, have you ever listened to if you took a transcript and I told you a guy in a trailer park told me this, you know, and I reinforced your preconceptions about what that means, right? You would just be automatically classist. You would be automatically thinking, oh, middle America, they can't be smart. Where they can be, obviously. We all know this. But then he wouldn't have a career because it's just like, oh, Hollywood, the Hollywood elite taught me the English language means intelligence. Dude, what if his words were an indicator of his intelligence?
stereotypical example of a girly swat that J.K. Rowling pulled out of the ether because she'd seen that herself many times.
Of course.
Whereas
She pulled
by
it out of the
comparison,
ether. And the ether is a real thing, right?
boys are often a lot
Makes it
more
true.
competitive and rambunctious and more inclined to get into trouble, right? More inclined to find it difficult to sit still for long periods of time. So if you have a system that treats both of these two contradictory ways of learning the same, one group has to find themselves on the outside of what is acceptable. And in each of those groups,
why?
you have, of course, a great
Why? What?
deal of variation. So those boys closer to the centre here, before it bleeds into what women are like, well, they might be fine, but the further out you go, the more that they find that difficult to do.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is if we don't socialize boys, well, they will have a hard time socializing. Yeah, I guess that's true. There are going to be some cases, and in those cases where they're just taught misogyny and some inherent, like, having a dick is a virtue to this guy. Like, literally, he thinks, oh, a beautiful boy with a penis. Finally, some quality around here. Like, what a weird thought. Why do you think that way?
And then you get an especially problematic student who feels that they were deeply mistreated by their second grade teacher, Miss Gretel, but from the teacher's perspective, she didn't do anything wrong.
Oh my God. He's really like, yeah, you nailed it. I actually do have a second grade teacher problem.
But she did do something wrong.
What?
Right, but she was treating those boys in ways she didn't know was not good for them. And a male teacher probably wouldn't have treated them in that way.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure everybody has 100% great memories of their male teachers, right? Like, look, I definitely agree that some of my female, all of our fucking super straights, all the boomers, none of them were woke. Actually, I had an anti-racist substitute teacher that I still recall. I just think, man, you don't know how to teach people things. You've never been in a classroom setting. You don't know how this manifests. I had 3 male teachers that really stood out to me. Yeah, I can remember my good male teachers as well. Like, my first good teachers were definitely women, though. One of my favorites. Actually, both of my favorite male teachers were English teachers, though. So they were readers. You're a guy who reads or knows science, likely going to be okay-ish.
And so actually, this and what does the caricature take issue with? Modernity. Yeah, why is this the case? It used to be that boys and girls had segregated schools. Australia still has a bunch of them. I did a talk on this a while ago at
segregated schools.
The Witan in Germany.
Dude, I was joking earlier, but he really did want to be like, oh, I want to be a hormonal teenager trapped with my other peers. Oh no, like he was like, I really missed out on that. I want that for the kids. It's like so weird. They have to be socializing with everybody. They have to be. It's so weird to think that, oh, women shouldn't be fucking talked to until we're 18. They're whole ass humans. This is why he doesn't humanize women. He has an insane view on this. Like, they can't be whole ass people if we're segregating. He wants segregation even down to sex. Carl accuses the left of all this identity politics stuff, but he literally wants all male spaces, all white spaces. He wants safe spaces from all of these people. All of this is projection. He wants to be insulated from the rest of the world and just protected from all of the scary things that happen out there.
Because I genuinely think this is a real problem. Like,
do you? Genuinely, huh?
Boys and girls are different. Like, modernity assumes everyone is fundamentally actually the same.
No! Nobody's saying that they're fundamentally actually the same. It's like you can't listen. His like tiny little brain can't listen. No, we're all different, but we're all quite similar. Okay? We're all different people with our own internal experiences, with our own understanding of self, with our own understanding of everything else, externality. And everything that boils into a person that we can't control, including things I don't like conservatism and Christianity and other religions and stuff like that, just nonsense beliefs about stuff. I can't stop that from happening, but what we can do is provide good systems. And it's a bad system to say boys and girls can't, based on sex differentiation, Because we're fucking wild animals. And Sargon agrees, we're wild animals that evolved on Earth. These wild animals need to now be sex segregated. And then they need to be further race segregated. And then what's down the line from that? Also the religions. And now we're in just like little, everybody can only stay in their little like Israeli settlement-sized encampment. And no one else can move. And then we all point guns at each other. And we're all scared. And then, you know, you don't meet anybody because you can't. So we all start inbreeding. And then we all turn into Carl. Oh, I get it. He wants us to be like him. Because if we're all the same, because this is really the crux of it. Because like they all say, because every accusation is an admission, right? They all say, oh, communism, they just want you to be the same thing. Which, by the way, I don't even know if I'm a fucking communist, right? Just sounds like he's onto something. Okay? I think in theory I'm a maximalist of good systems. So we'll probably have some kind of market for shit we don't need. But is that communism? Yeah, probably. It's like it's super socialism. It's just rad. Okay? It's something. It doesn't matter what it is. We don't need to be bound to fucking old white guys. We can be better than that. We can involve everybody's conversation. But not if we segregate on sex in the fucking classroom. We just aren't going to be able to. The science is in on this, by the way. If you have a diverse, and this is true, a diverse variety of minds in a room working creatively to solve a problem, you will get better results as opposed to people who have very similar mind frames, because it just makes sense, right? You would have broader context through which to observe the world, and therefore you would have more, like your net is just bigger to capture information. It's obviously true. It's very small-minded and British of this motherfucker to think of this.
And if you don't, if you're not sensitive to what these people actually need, then they will become resentful of you. I mean, one thing about this is discipline, right? Female teachers, women generally, I think don't understand that a lot of boys need structure and order that is imposed through physical authority.
Why is he like, you know what? Little boys should be beaten by older men as a part of their growing ritual in school settings during sex and race segregation. Yes, please. That would solve everyone's corporal punishment for all the children in the race and sex segregated society, please. Surely that won't lead to any societal downfalls, idiot.
The size and booming deep voice of a man is 90%.
The size and booming deep voice of a man, Carl. I need this clip, guys. All right, so, let's avoid the psychosexual component to this for a little bit, because that's weird. The most violent person I can think of, like the one that took it up to the highest notch that I can think of during my schooling, was a woman. The people who were more common, like in aggregate, to use physical violence were men, right? But the person who took it up the highest was a woman in a teaching setting, and that was in second grade. And she took one of the fucking rulers with the metal edge, and one of my buddies was being a little shit or something. I don't know what he was doing. It was probably annoying, but not that annoying. And she took the fucking ruler, not a yardstick. It wasn't the yardstick. It was the ruler, which is to show you how fucking hard this is about to be. And she like cocked it back like she was gonna hit him with it, and then instead of that, she rose it up and like he went like this, and she fucking cracked it on the desk, and the desk split. Like it was like one of those like wood top desks that attached to the metal thing, and the fucking desk like cracked. It didn't like buckle, but it cracked like the thing that it was made of. I still remember that, and she was like a skinny little lady. She got a lot of leverage on that shit, though. She crack. She must have hit it just right, but yeah, it was crazy. I also heard of, but I did not experience, I heard of another teacher in like a grade or two ahead of me threw a chair at the only black kid in the school, and he got disciplined, that guy. Yeah, he threw a computer chair at the kid. I heard there was rumors back in the day that teacher had, at the time, I think, photocopied his dick or something. And I don't think this was necessarily true, but this is rumors that kids started that he took a copy of his dick. And then someone said that they had it and that it got spread around. So this is a rumor that was in my school before we were in school. So, like, think 15 years ago this rumor starts, and we all get wind of it down line year after year, right? So for 15 years, this teacher is experiencing purportedly this rumor, but it could be real. I don't know. The joke was that one of the students found it, made more copies of it, and then wrote the word Gus on it, like a to nickname the dick Gus, because it was like kind of chody. And so if you said Gus around this teacher, he would flip the fuck out, which was true. I saw it myself happen. I did see that happen. Someone said, "Oh, Gus," and he'd be like, "What'd you fucking say?" Or, you know, not fucking probably, but he would get mad if you said that, which is weird. So anyway, I heard that he threw a chair at a kid for saying that.
Is 90% of what keeps boys in line. I genuinely believe it.
Yeah. Anyway, so the data doesn't show that corporal punishment keeps anyone in line. It'll actually make you more likely to rebel. Anyway, if you talk to a child like they're a whole human and you try to understand them and help them with stuff, they'll thrive. You give them nutrition, housing, healthcare, education. They'll almost always thrive. Anything else from that is going to be, usually it's an environmental or it's something that we can fix because, you know, some people just have, you know, things that work against them, whether it's their actual brains or just society doesn't understand them.
Touchy-feely, compassionate education can feel not right. And I suppose at this extremity, it could probably even feel like abuse. And so it's difficult for modernity to be able to accept this. And for some reason, we've said, no, teaching is a female profession now. We've given it entirely over to women.
I mean, given it, go be a teacher. Actually, don't. He'd have to qualify to do that.
And so is it any wonder that men are not having a good time in the education system?
Do you mean like that they underperform from women? So this is due to your cultural influence and similar men like you, for real. They're having a hard time socializing in these spaces, and they're having a hard time learning in these spaces because of your cultural influence. You're going to be left behind as a group of people. Like if you're not an individual who is curious and capable of problem solving.
Is it any wonder I hope boys are not having a good time in the education system? I don't think it's surprising. Actually, I don't think this is a shocking thing at all. And I think this meme does actually explain a lot of right-wing politics.
I think the meme explains my right-wing politics, dude. Hell yeah.
Which is, the system treated me unfairly because I was born wrong for it. The system is set up for one half of the human race, and it's not set up for the other. And actually, it would be useful to have a system that was set up to deal with the differences between both halves of the human race, rather than having this feminist system that just completely erases the distinctiveness of 50% of people.
This is just segregation. It's so weird. And all of the education system has to center white men, of course. Like we can't center and Judeo-Christian white men, right? With a even though I'm not a Christian, I respect the Christian tradition, of course. It was made by great men and tradition. And so I have to keep it because it's tradition.
Anyway, I thought we'd look at the quotes on this as well, because some of these comments are just incredible, right? Uh-huh. And I think completely proved my point. My little brother was singled out and bullied by his female teachers because he would bounce up and down when he got excited. They used to call him Tigger.
That is not making fun of him. A nickname is making fun of him? Here's the thing. I don't know. We can listen to him read this in a second. Any amount of women being, like, making you upset does not justify your misogyny, right? It'd have to be a systemic issue. Because you also are like, well, women are better caretakers. Women are better caretakers, but only in, like, nurses or something, like nursing in the home. Now we can't be, they're not better educators. There are other conservative dude bros that disagree with this.
He was a single-digit age, and they would scream at him and insult him for hopping in place in anticipation of recess or something. Why? Like, as a dad, as an adult man and a dad, why would that even be something interesting? Why would you
scream at him and insult him? I mean, let's just steel man it. If you're being screamed at and insulted for hopping in place, and it's called Uncle Deluge, I'm assuming this conservative is an older person. Let's call it Sargon's age. So you're talking about a bunch of non-woke people not understanding how to deal with a kid at, limited with hyperactivity. Could be autistic, could just be fucking, just a kid that has lots of energy. Let's just steel man it. Those are just people who aren't woke. That's how conservatives act to people when they're acting out of line. I've only ever had conservative people act this way. I've never had someone who understands neurodivergency or how to fucking like deal equitably in a classroom. I've never seen someone quite wokely be just trash to one fucking hyper kid. What I could see is a poser. I could see a liberal with a pride flag or something, like an I'm with her t-shirt, being like mean. But this seems like old school stuff. So you're upset at all women because of this, which is just a male teacher yelling at a kid to sit down would be a non-issue. I don't even think he probably thought about that, because I guarantee you men, because this is my experience as well, men in gym class especially fucking, or before the assembly, sit down! A lot of yelling. Men yell a lot for this kind of stuff. But if women do this, and by the way, calling him Tigger, the Winnie the Pooh character, dude, how is this insulting?
It was hardly even moving. Imagine bouncing your leg up and down.
By the way, you just said that men need physical. So if the woman would have hit the kid, it would have been better. But if it's like, hey, calm down, you're bouncy like a cartoon character, that's worse.
When you feel antsy, he did it with both. They took away his recesses. They wouldn't let him go outside. They took him off the soccer team, his greatest joy in the world. What are you doing? What would they be doing this for? It's fucking evil. They made him feel like a piece of shit. He couldn't help himself, and it stressed him out so much he started to have tantrums in the morning and refused to ever go to school again. How awful, right?
Yeah, and that was women's fault. Every woman owns a little piece of that burden, that's for sure. Any man who's ever done the same thing or worse, definitely not. Nope. So we're just reinforcing the meme because it's true. It's misogyny-based spite politics that has learned nothing. You didn't get educated.
Teachers held meetings, though, determined amongst themselves that they had done nothing wrong. Yeah, of course they would. That my little brother, whose crime was that he felt so much excitement that he couldn't contain himself, needed to be medicated. Oh, that's another thing as well. Don't even want to...
I mean, he needs to be medicated, but, I mean, it could have been part of it. But, yeah, I don't think handing out Ritalin to a kid that doesn't need it is good.
We get onto the idea of medicating children. I hate it.
Medicating some kids need medication, man. We can't medicate children. This is such a non-scientific way to approach it. Like, I definitely agree that especially in America, the for-profit pharmaceutical companies are not necessarily dissuaded from over-medicating somebody. So that's true, but like, people don't really seek it that much in the United States anyway. So it's not like that big of a deal. My brother had problems similar to this. He was a really hyper kid. I wouldn't say tantrums necessarily, although a little bit, especially when he was younger. But he had problems in school. He had problems paying attention. I'm sure he was, had people make jokes or whatever, and he definitely got kicked out of school before, and he definitely got prescribed Ritalin. And then, so my mom was like, okay, let's see if this helps you. And then they did that. And then he's like, you know what? I don't feel like this helps me. It makes me feel a little bit like a zombie. And he's like, I don't really want to take it. My mom said, okay. It was fine. I know other kids that had to take medication for all sorts of different things as kids when I was a kid. And this is, not necessarily just Ritalin or, Adderall or whatever the fuck. Diabetic kids and all sorts of different shit. Kids have problems too.
Some experts who agreed and convinced my mum to start giving my brother anti-anxiety medication at like 10 years old. The life faded out of his eyes. He had never been the same. The tantrums never stopped. He never even graduated school. I hate every single one of them.
I hate every single one of them. Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like a cascade of failures. Did you blame your mom? Yep. You blamed your mom. So I guarantee you, if you fucking actually tried to pay attention and learn what this situation was, even if 100% of the people that failed this kid were women, it's not a misogyny issue. Like, we don't have to turn to misogyny. We can turn to the systems that these people were involved in, right? Like, why did your mom believe that? Why did the adults believe that? Do we think that we had the best possible care that we were giving them? Why or why not? How can we improve this? Instead, it's just, nope. Women, we should just, if all men were involved in this kid would be in an asylum. Let's be real.
Well, that's just fucking awful.
It is.
That's just awful.
Just
absolutely awful.
Fucking awful, dude.
I had a teacher in the 7th grade misdefine a word. I raised my hand and said that I didn't think it was correct, what it actually meant. He said I was wrong.
He said I was wrong. Let's go. It's a guy, but now in 7th grade, it's ruined my life.
If I was wrong,
I forgot again.
fix my mistake. I wasn't. Yeah. In high school.
Notice how he skipped that? Notice how he just fucking skipped over that one? It was about a man. Interesting.
I tore my ACL. I tore my ACL playing soccer. I was on crutches for 6 months, and got attacked by a loser while sitting out of gym class. The school had a stupid rule about how in any physical fight, both parties had to be punished equally.
This happened to me too, dude. School bureaucracy, radicalized, dude. Look at all these fucking fail sons. They don't do anything. I was radicalized in high school. One bad thing happened to me in high school. Bro, can you imagine if Israel bombed your fucking house? These guys are all Hamas terrorists immediately. They don't even realize it. I know that they're all like really fucking Islamophobic and everything, but they're all way more extreme than any Hamas terrorist. The just extremism. Can you imagine? Oh, I tore my ACL and a guy was mad at me and we both got suspended for a fight we were both in. Yeah, I agree. I don't like getting suspended for fighting too. I'm fine with it being
Charlie Kirk is dead.
Like, you know, part of that is not just because, like, it's not always punishment. To some degree, kid who is getting attacked at school, maybe don't make that kid go to school the next day. I think not framing it as a punishment for them would be good, which is also not what happened for me. But at least I participated in my fight. I defended myself. I don't know. Maybe Andrew Follett just got his ass kicked. He's like, well, no, I didn't, bro. My ACL was torn. You still fight with a torn ACL, bro. If you're not running and bobbing side to side, just fucking fight them. Square up. You don't need an ACL for that shit. Thought we were men. It's not a reason to be a conservative. If anything, it's a reason to become woke. Can you imagine if instead of this punitive conservative approach to punishment for children, instead of minimum sentencing, which is just fucking idiotic, what if we had like a reformative approach to discipline? And what if we tried to understand? What if instead of 2 suspensions, what if both of them went to therapy for the day together? Conflict resolution, to talk about their differences in a safe place with adults around. Even with the parents too, depending on the situation, or any of the other kids involved. Why can't we have professional interactions? No, we must have punitive measures that don't solve anything. We can't actually have healthcare and education at the healthcare and education complex. We have to have some kind of worker camp. Make the children into workers.
I pointed out that obviously the kid in crutches did not start the fight. The vice principal scoffed and asked me why I was daring to question authority.
Listen to yourself!
Yep. I just hate this kind of...
Huh? Can't believe I dare to question authority. That's why I vote for the conservatives. What a dumb motherfucker. I can't imagine. That is just a brainless fucking operation we're going with. Are you just going to read a bunch of Twitter? Is that what Carl's here for? How much Twitter is he reading?
As he says, like, school bureaucracy radicalizes many conservatives because it's so obviously stupid, actively harmful, and punishing to the victim. And it is just that it is one rule universally applied, even where it's inappropriate. Like, that's that.
Like minimum sentencing, Carl? Wow. Sounds like pretty progressive punishment ideas, Carl. They're rock-brained individuals. How are you going to submit to an unjust hierarchy such as a fucking monarchy, such as an authoritarian fucking, presidential system? What is your fucking deal here? If you're like, I don't like people who have authority over me and also have unjust laws. Just like all this, like, oh, we can't be woke shit. Like, are you just scared that people are going to call you gay or something? Why don't you just grow past the part of you that is worried about what other people think for a second and be like, you know what? Humans do have needs that need to be met. We all need to have mental health care. Easy. I need fucking mental health care now after watching one Sargon of a Cod video. Not even a whole one. 7 minutes of Sargon of a Cod. Not because he's like destroying my worldview, because he's so fundamentally opposed to his own worldview. I'm crashing out at the dissonance that lives in this guy's brain because he won't. Someone's gotta. Someone has to acknowledge the dissonance in here. So bought into his identity politics, he can't see what he's reading out loud to himself. Bereft of inner monologue.
I wasn't a troublemaker at school. I wasn't a troublemaker.
Yeah, we know. You're a bitch. You're a pussy. You would never. I guarantee you this guy sniffed fucking teacher ass. Bootlicker from his fucking birth.
I always did the bare minimum in order to just do whatever I had to do to get out of the system. Right? I always just did the bare minimum, was just sat there bored, staring out the window, totally disinterested in what's going on, just desperate to get out of the lesson. I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't cause trouble, but I was always just desperate to get out. And I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to get detention.
All right. So anyway, studies show, quite wokely, I might add, that when you take stock in like how kids learn, the best methods on how to like get them involved in social settings so that they do good group work, how they manifest and synthesize information, their most optimal times of learning, the nutrition they need, the time spent on it. It's like 11 to 3 every day, like 5 days a week. 11 to 3 is pretty much the optimal learning time. Everything else, you could probably do a 10 to 4 and get away with it. You could probably do 10 to 4. Anything beyond that, and it's crazy. And even then, I don't really think the classroom settings that we have are super ideal. Like, it is monotonous. It's monotonous for the fucking teachers having done the job. It's monotonous. Everyone agrees. There's joy in it, but, you know, and I never got here, but I've talked to plenty of educators. I have them in my family and obviously, you know, former colleagues and peers. There is like a few years where it takes you, you know, you get into the rhythm by like year 3 or 4. Like, second year gets easier than the first year and so on. And then by year fucking 5, I mean, you're fucking, you know, working on your master's hopefully or on your end of it and bored with the fucking curriculum because you've been teaching the same shit and they don't update the books enough and your classroom isn't stocked enough and you're doing this all out of pocket and you might have a second job in the off season and, you know, stuff just starts stacking up. Anyway, we could socialize this all together and have kids learning at an optimal rate, but instead, what they have done is, and it was pragmatic at a time early on, I suppose, but the school time is to make sure that kids are in daycare while the parents labor. It's settled around the work week. It's why it's Monday through Friday. So it doesn't have to be that. We could do extracurriculars after all the sports and stuff, and you could just do year round instead of having to take time off. You could do like 4 days a week or something. We could have public transit to bolster this. It could all be done, but the investment in our kids' future, it's like, you know, subservient to capital and the idea that we have to make capital, and it's like, we don't. We do not have to. We are together doing the thing on earth. We are in Eden, and we are corrupting it. We are the fucking people that are erecting the tree that will have the apple on it. We're the snakes in the garden, man. We don't have to be, though. We could be the fucking farmers or whatever.
But I had no interest in the stuff I was doing at school. But anyway, Mimetic Sisyphus here says...
It's pretty obvious you had no interest in what you were doing in school. It's fucking clear it did not stick.
True. Every halfway intelligent right-winger I know IRL has a massive conflict with at least one elementary teacher.
And by the way, I agree to some extent. I didn't like 100% of school, especially on the second, like late high school. I was over it. I knew the stuff they were telling me, and I wasn't interested in like some of the higher end math, which is the only stuff I had to really take. And I was just kind of like, you know, ready to get out of there and experience other shit. But that's just like, you know, my quite woke leftist view of the very modernly conservative education system. The education system is conservative. A lot of the educators that entered the education system are not. So there's a push and pull with that. And then, of course, the old guard that's in charge of that is also old and conservative. So it's pretty weird. We're going to wrestle control of this system, I think, the millennials. And we're just going to make everyone smart and wonderful and happy, I think.
Yahoo!
Thanks, Luigi.
Other things like reading ahead, reading too difficult books. Oh, yeah, that was... Yeah. So I was always well above my reading age at school. I mean, I was, you know, reading like Stephen King when I was like 10 years old and stuff.
Dude, I was reading Stephen King when I was like 10 years old. Yeah, real hard to do. Yeah, man, me too. I don't know. know, dude. We all fucking read. At least we did. Millennials, I think, read more than the kids now. If you're in your 20s still, you probably didn't read many books, did you? Unless it was by design. Did you actually read the book report books, or did a lot of you guys started using the internet? Like SparkNotes was a thing in college for me, not in high school, really. Well, it was, but I didn't use it. Do they even use SparkNotes now? They probably just use AI, fucking ChatGPT. ChatGPT, finish this book report for me. I'm serious. If you're for some reason tuned into this and you're still getting educated, like you're in college, which is probably most likely. If you're in fucking high school, what are you doing? Pay the fuck attention and actually write your book report. Seriously, try. Just try it. I guarantee you, if you just earnestly engage in some of this dumb shit, like book reports are kind of stupid, frankly. I think they're kind of stupid. I don't like how book reports work. I think we should talk about books together. I think we should do book club at school. Like really talk about it. And I had one teacher that really did a good job with that and helped me understand metaphor a little bit and like speech. You can listen to books. Okay, but here's the thing. Listening to books is fine. It is not the same. Listening to books is 100% fine. Like to get the media in you and to understand the story and everything, it is not the same as reading the words on the page and putting it in your brain and then having that happen. I think that is more rewarding mentally. I do think it's more taxing physically. But I think if you're listening to a book is better than listening to not a book for sure. I think it really, like, I feel smarter after I read. Like, I feel sharper. I think it's true. I think it's just the processes that happen in your brain. I think our language is better. I definitely think that hearing other people speak, though, is excellent. I'm basically like an audiobook. It's pretty much just as productive.
Well, maybe about 13, actually, but still quite ahead.
I'm so glad he's here.
Like, I was one of the few people in class who actually was interested in some of the books we were doing as well. It's the first time we experienced the uncaring tyranny of state bureaucracy, and it sucks. Totally.
He didn't read Grapes of Wrath and learn anything, though. This man reads Steinbeck and doesn't listen to a word. Graphic novels are good, but they're not the same. So, okay. It's not the same. It is very good, though. I definitely think that the building of the... So the reason it's not the same is because they show you the scene. The thing that I think is really important for reading is building the verisimilitude within the words, because there is a... Like, people who are actually writers are writing to pull you in with your eyes, right? So, like, the craft of writing a book is not meant for the audio platform, as a purist, of course. Obviously, it's wonderful to do and totally valid. But, like, there is a magic to it that I'm sure every one of you who has read a good book know what I'm talking about. There's just you just fall into it in a way that is not the same as anything else. When I read a graphic novel, I feel like I'm reading a comic book. I've never had one of those pull me in quite as much as a book. Does that make sense? Just because where your brain space is, because I'm still looking at stuff. Like, now I can, just like a movie, I can get pulled in and like be really like attached to it and everything, but it's just not quite. It's just one layer less because you're, it's just a little less effort on your fucking brain, which I like. I love a graphic novel, but I think you know what I mean. It's just a little bit more. There's like a trance-like thing or something. I don't know. Reading is weird. Anyway, we're talking about books and cool stuff instead of doing this trash. I have to get through this. I am running out of time.
Leftism can be caricatured as hating a dad who represents authority because he didn't let you eat candy all day. Rightism can be caricatured as hating your teacher, representing the bureaucracy that hurts and punishes you out of spite, sadism, and dysfunction. Leftism
can be caricatured as hating your dad who represents authority because he didn't let you eat candy all day. I guess... So my gripes with my dad wasn't... Because I don't think he was very authoritative. He was situationally tried to assert authority where he hadn't fostered it. Like, do the dishes. And I'm like, why? I got stuff to do. He's like, because I said so. It's like, well, you haven't really established that that's a thing that needs to be... Like, there's no, make an argument. But, just tell me you need help. That's fine. Just open up. But I think it was lack of communication, not represents authority. Authority is not some... authority is something that I will accept with merit. I think all leftists are there. It's unjust hierarchy, right? Like LeBron James can give me tips on jump shot, but not Carl Benjamin, I think daddy issues might be more common. I'm going to throw it out there. I think maybe mommy issues are more common with right wing and daddy issues more common with left wing. I don't know that to be true, but that feels intuitive only because I think it would be more likely for you to see the ills of patriarchy if you have the framework to reject that already, and that's one of the steps to understanding it. Although I guarantee you there are lots of mommy issue having never had a dad at all, fucking or maybe had fucking great dad who are still leftists. So I really think just being a leftist is being educated. But I do think maybe you're more likely to accept that you have daddy issues if you're on the left. I agree. I think a ton of right. I think right-winger daddy issues are more like I want to please daddy, right? Rather than a rejection of daddy. They're like, ooh, daddy, yes. Yes, please let me make you proud of me, daddy. And us, the rest of us, have been like, well, wait, I don't need his pride. I would like his mutual respect, but he hasn't earned it, right? That's pretty much where all leftists are. I mean, we're all affected by both parents, for sure. I would say my dad is definitely more of a negative influence on me than my mom was, but I won't say she had no negative influence, that's for sure. But that just could be my situation. I'm sure we're all just fucked up in our different ways, and it has some correlation, but I suspect that correlation only lies in the right's inability to identify their daddy issues. You know what I mean? I'm saying smart stuff right now, even though we're smoking lots of weed, so...
Well, I think a lot of it, again, is the kind of homogenizing effect of the petty bureaucracy. They can only they only invent one rule for everyone.
You want different rules for white boys? Wow.
And so it has to apply to the least of people and encapsulate the greatest, right? So it's not good. You know, it's not good to be trapped in a classroom full of retards while you're bored.
Yeah. I'm sure that's how everyone else felt about you, Sargon, yeah.
Out of your mind, staring out the window, just literally counting down the minutes until you get out of class. It's just not good. And yet here we are. I got suspended for drawing soldiers and knights in 3rd grade. PTA meeting held in a separate room for a day, whole 9 yards. I didn't draw again until the last year of my middle school out of fear of arbitrary unknown rules I could break unconsciously and be told.
Dude, he does not like this person, though. Volksferatu. I'm a Nazi furry artist fucking teenager or something. I was told I was evil. I mean, you are evil. It looks like you're an evil person.
Well, I was evil. When I was in school, there was this guy who
I got suspended for drawing in 3rd grade. So in 3rd grade, I got in trouble, and now I'm just a Nazi. Were those soldiers German? Soldiers and knights, yeah. Were they Nazi soldiers and crusaders murdering and killing brown people or something?
Draw these elaborate battlefield they weren't stickman figures, but they were just in pencil. But they were really detailed and they were really good. I don't think you ever got in trouble for it. But
yeah, my battlefield artistry when I was a kid was really good. It sounds like he's adopting everybody else's story as he reads them. Yeah, I did this too, but it was way better even. It's
just one of those things where you've just got you got some guys who just express themselves, and it's just not like the others, right? It's just the way.
I drew out video game levels, like side-scrolling video game levels, like Sonic the Hedgehog or something, with like a spike pit or whatever. It was so good, though. It was so good.
It is.
It didn't look like shit at all.
Yeah, it's a complete mystery why boys would hate their teachers. Yeah.
Because during COVID, why they would hate their teachers? But the cop is doing it. The cop's right there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what's going through his fucking mind? I mean, God, look at this.
Yeah,
look at this image. Yeah, look at this image.
Look at this.
Everything about it. I hate everything about it.
I hate that there's women. I hate that there's masks. I hate that there's interracial and intersex children running. Well, not intersex. Oh, co-ed. My bad. Hold on. Don't say intersex. I'll freak out. Co-ed. The two sexes, the only two sexes, they are around each other. That's bad. I don't like that they have shade in a walkway. I don't like that this grass is tended to. I don't like that there's a man back here participating. I don't like that this looks like a fine school at all. I'm fucking mad.
I can see in that kid's eyes.
You can see in that kid's eyes what? He looks like a kid. He looks like he's being goofy even. Huh?
And the slackness of the women around him.
The slackness? What are they supposed to do?
The smug look. I hate it.
Smug? Brother, are you crashing out? What is happening? Smug?
I genuinely hate it.
Yeah, I think you've worked yourself up into a tizzy.
That kid's grown up to be right wing.
I think you've.
I'll tell you that.
Whoa! You're showing.
Honestly.
Hold on, that guy had slurs. What the fuck?
Book report of our choosing any book.
Whoa!
Most kids chose very simple books, but I chose Aristotle's.
Dude, this guy's going through racist posts. I just caught it. I'm sure no one else did.
Politics, which my dad gave to me because he wanted me to engage with the classics. My final report was 25 pages long because I really love that book.
Trauma causes right wing. Weird. Yeah, I guess. None of them have ever gone to fucking therapy for any of this.
How did the teacher repay me? She said it was impossible for a 10-year-old to have read Aristotle, and more impossible to write such a report. I got a 0. Oh.
I read Aristotle as a kid and wrote a 25-page report, and then my teacher said, you got a 0. You're a 10-year-old. And then the other fucking teachers came in there, and they fucking started clapping, dude. They were like, no way. We're standing up for this fucking kid. He's smart. And then Robin Williams came in and gave me therapy because I was writing on the walls. Can't believe members of incredibly social species need compassion, kindness, and communal support to develop into a healthy person. It's absurd. That sounds fucking woke. Are you telling me that if someone took a more delicate approach with these kids rather than a punitive one, are you telling me that if someone quite wokely identified that each one of these kids was somehow, it looks like a little neurodivergent and maybe not super healthily, taking in information from other people, maybe had some biases, I think maybe we could have nipped this in the bud, but no. And then I came in and said, good jobs. I would never say that. I would never say, good job, son. That's woke. You kidding me? No. My son would either get backhanded or not backhanded. That's the only thing men can do. We can punish or we cannot be punishing.
Well, that's great. That's great.
And
the thing is, I bet this applies to a lot of the right-wing Twitter
scroll back up.
to be honest. Interestingly, Harry Bergeron is a great name for a person to come around on this. Resenting a teacher for sabotaging your natural gifts is orders of magnitude morally superior to what animates the left, which is resenting peers for having greater natural gifts than they do.
Natural gifts! The natural gift of being an insufferable cunt. That's what it is. I'm fucking insufferable. Nobody likes me, and I am resenting a teacher for sabotaging your natural gifts. This is so funny. I love how all of them are literally like, yeah, I am this really angry guy. Dude, just fucking light the fuse and keep writing.
Some of them even grow up to become teachers who sabotage gifted children. Funny that. Man, that's a bloody great comment. And again, Harrison Bergeron is just...
You mean to say that conservative teaching styles, which is what you're describing having a problem with, you're upset with conservatives not understanding and being educated and woke on the education and not treating these children more gently and kindly and not having more resources for them. You're saying that would create bad teachers and bad people, and you're all agreeing that, yeah, I am one of those. It's obvious you didn't fucking do well in school because you can't read. This is a criticism that you're not synthesizing. You don't have to be like this once you've realized that this is what's happening. You can be like, wait a second, am I making a genetic fallacy against all women? Is my prejudice not helpful? Because the prejudice, when it was exerted on me, my non-woke teachers, it bothered me.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's the name of a short story where everyone is handicapped by the handicap of general, so we're all equal. And
what?
This is basically what a lot of right-wingers feel about the modern education system.
This is pathetic. I can't believe that Sargon is so maladjusted. There were no signs. I'm very shocked and surprised. Trash can with face, dude. He is really, 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 really dumb. That's too fucking bad. Are any of them ever going to realize that it's themselves doing the thing? No. No, they will not.